Thanks for joining the Tuesday edition of Journalist Hangout. I am Veronica Danikboy. Today on the program, federal government recovers over 143 billion naira through whistleblower policy. Army hands over 162 suspected killer herdsmen to the police. Bloodbath in Kaduna as bandits kill more than 60 in Berlin Gwari. And later on the show, Kidnap kingpin Evans laments maltreatment in Kirikiri prisons. I will be hanging out with Babajide Kolade Ojitoju, Yanika Adebalogun, and Wahid Bakari. Gentlemen, thanks for coming on the program.
Thank you.
Journalist Hangout starts now. Well, prosecution of the fight against corruption has been one of the cardinal policies of President Muhammadu Buhari's administration. After all, the president claims that corruption is responsible for low level of development in Nigeria and little funds to implement projects. To get out of the woods, government adopted strategies to deal with corruption, including the whistleblower policy to expose graft and get more money for government. So far, the presidency says it has recovered over 143 billion naira through that policy. How far can it go in nipping corruption in the bud? I'll start with you, Jide. Can this be what we need to really tackle corruption, the whistleblower policy?
Yes, the policy is no doubt the strategic and very effective tool for reducing corruption in our country, and it has no doubt added a fresh impetus to the war against corruption. And within a short time, we've seen real progress being made. We've seen the effectiveness of the policy, because the sum of, within just a few months, the sum of 11 billion naira was recovered through the policy, and with 375 million paid to 20 whistleblowers within like 7-8 months. So that should tell you that if we keep faith with this policy, we'll be able to recover a lot of money. And you see, the president is desperate to find money wherever it is, especially stolen money. Wherever he goes, when he goes to meet world leaders in the UK, he tells them, look, Nigerian assets, stolen assets are kept in your country. The big favor you can do to us is to help us repatriate what has been stolen from us. And it's one of the successes of his visit to Donald Trump, the president of the US, was the fact that they agreed to repatriate more than 190 billion naira stolen from our country, back to Nigeria. So we need to fix the infrastructure deficit that we suffer as a country. And wherever Muhammadu Buhari can find money, is looking for it. No government has shown as much zeal to recover stolen money within so short a time as this government has done. You recall that in 2016, the president went to UAE and also signed a deal with the government of the United Arab Emirates along this same line. So we are seeing real progress being made in terms of recovering stolen money. Yes, to defeat corruption is a bigger problem, it's a bigger challenge, because you can't defeat corruption with efforts concentrated only at the center. I do not see the same zeal being showed at state level. And if we fail to show the same zeal at state level, we can't defeat corruption. So what the government needs to do now is to work harder. I want to see a situation in which federal ministries, departments and agencies begin to make their affairs transparent. I was taken aback when I heard that even the FCC does not show enough transparency in the conduct of its affairs, especially on monetary issues. I would want a situation in which the ministries become more transparent, their month-on-month expenditure becomes what every Nigerian can have access to.
Okay.
It is when we do that that you see our rating will improve in terms of our, Transparency International rating of Nigeria will certainly improve, because they will see clearly that, okay, Nigeria as a country is becoming more transparent. We have nothing to hide.
Okay, now let's bring Waheed in. Do you share the same view with GD that this policy is one tool that is really helping fight corruption in the country?
Of course, I'm on the same page with him. You know, there is no way we would have recovered the amount of money we have recovered if we have gone through the legal process like we used to do in the past. You know, we have a situation whereby most of those who are even caught, you know, willingly, you know, admitted and they surrendered the money. There was even a case of whereby nobody even came forward to claim the money that was recovered somewhere, you know. So the beauty of it is that we have saved the legal hassles of, you know, going back and forth. You never can, you cannot be so sure that if you have gone through the legal process, we will have recovered the same amount of money within the same short period of time, you know. But my worry is that, you know, government needs to come out better. Let the policy be well spread out. You'll discover that immediately after the 43 million naira was discovered in Ikoyi flat, there was reduction in the number of whistleblowers because of the fact that, you know, government was trying to shift the goalpost in the middle of the game.
How do you mean?
What I meant was that, you know, the policy stated that whoever blows the whistle will get between 2.5% to 5%.
Now, it depends on the amount.
It depends, but it was later. It was later that it now came out through Professor Ise Sage that no, if the amount involved
is a very huge amount,
you cannot guarantee that you will get between 2.5 and 5%. That can be as low as 1%. You know, but now that I think that one has been settled. You know, if we continue with that regard, there's no doubt about it that we are going to recover a lot of money. I think they should just keep the tempo.
Jacob, there's something he talked about, that if we had gone through the legal process, that we wouldn't have recovered as much. And this policy is not backed by law. And so there are challenges as well that will be facing this policy, just like he pointed out. So what are your thoughts?
Well, actually, the policy must be short-term. It must be a long-term policy, because ultimately we run out of whistles for people to blow.
Really?
We must start putting in place structures that are beyond whistleblowing as a policy. This should be a temporary, short-term, maybe 3, 4, 5 years.
But it's yielding desired results.
But ultimately, you don't cure acne by putting more pimples. You cure acne by making sure the face is clear. We are in the first phase of a war that's going to take a long time. When I saw to the root of the problem, I laugh, because corruption is in Nigeria. All of us, products of the same system. So what the Buhari administration is doing is commendable. But like I said, unless we start putting structures in place that will outlive the present administration at the states and local government levels, I'm afraid we are going to keep knocking our hands on the wood and try to get the best of it. Because ultimately, like I said earlier, we will run out of whistleblowers. Because it will get to a point...
Can we run out of whistleblowers?
Of course. Jakonde was who said that it takes 24 hours for Nigerians to distort the law. If you implement a law or you introduce a law on Monday, by Tuesday afternoon, Nigerians have found ways around it. And I can tell you that the more we go further into this administration, the less whistleblowers you will see. Because all they have to do is accommodate those who are likely to blow whistles in the first place.
Carry them along.
And make sure that everybody say, bros, this is $1 billion. Instead of blowing whistle and getting 1%, why not sit down and let me give you 10%?
Why not keep your whistle?
Throw your whistle away. So like I said, it must be short term, unless there are structures to ensure.
Around this policy or some another?
Fighting corruption at a long level. Because what we are doing is reacting to something that's already been done. When the money has been stolen, please tell us if you know the thief. Our job, the job of people in government is to ensure that there was no stealing in the first place. So they must set up structures to ensure that that is minimized. Because you cannot wait for people to steal money and then wait for somebody to make sure they tell us those who stole it. At the end of the day, people will steal 100 million and the whistleblower will come in and they will say they stole 50 million. Whistleblower will get 5 million. Government loses, the state loses, everybody loses. Ultimately, that will not be in our own interest. Structure that ensure that the monies were not stolen in the first place is the long-term solution.
Can we have that in Nigeria, Jide?
Yes, we can. The government has to show the will, a strong will, to defeat corruption at all levels. Right now, we are not seeing that. So that's why I'm saying that once the leadership shows that strong will, and then the legislature itself buys into the zeal, the will of the central government to defeat corruption, we would then begin to see laws designed to make it extremely difficult for people to get around corruption, to perpetrate corruption and get away with it. It's very difficult in the Scandinavian countries and other developed countries of the world. That is why I've said it repeatedly here that there's a difference between stealing and corruption. There's a difference between stealing and corruption. Those countries have literally defeated corruption. But nobody can defeat stealing. Because within your home, your housemaid may just steal your what's it called? Your wristwatch or jewelry or something. But corruption is much more, is different. Is different. So corruption is not simply the act of stealing this and stealing that. No, it's much more than that. And you require the system to be loose to be able to get around corruption. We see presidents of countries step out of the vortex of power, and the following year they are put in jail because the systems ensure that you do not get away. And sometimes when you look at even the amount of money they are talking about, you'll be amazed. Sometimes for as little as maybe $10,000.
$10,000.
I've seen that. I've seen world leaders jailed for as little as that. So it's because those countries have reached the point that it's extremely difficult to get away with corruption. The systems are in place, and you can't get around those systems. Look at when we talk about Norway not even having enough prisoners. Can you imagine? It's gotten up to that some countries of the world are saying, Spain, bring your prisoners. Let me keep prisoners for you. If their own prisons were bursting at the seams with prisoners, they won't be able to accommodate prisoners from everywhere. Look at the prisons in Norway. They are like 5-star hotels. Now, if they have so many prisoners, no prisoner will be able to live a life of luxury in the prison. But those prisons are empty because laws are being obeyed, because people know the implication of disobeying the law. You go to jail. There's no way, whoever you may be. So we must get to that point in Nigeria where we do not really need a strong leader, but strong institutions. You know, those strong institutions will outlive strong leaders. That is the point. It is strong institutions that can help us to defeat corruption, nothing more.
All right, let's quickly move on now. Still to come, Army hands over 162 suspected killer herdsmen to the police. Stay with us. All right, you're still watching the Tuesday edition of Journalist Hangouts. Nigerians have contended with the scourge of killer herdsmen for so long that any gain in the fight against the group will be appreciated. So when the troops participating in the special operation codenamed Exercise IM Akpatuma arrested 162 suspected killer herdsmen, we hope for a permanent end to the menace. But what next after the Director of Defense Information, Brigadier General John Agbim, announced that they are handing over the suspects to the police. Jide, is there much we should be hopeful for with this handover of 162 suspects to the police? Because this is not the first time we're seeing such an arrest or handover.
Yeah, we should actually be thank the army for the efforts that they've made, because we have consistently challenged the army to go for this killer herdsmen, you know, and bring them to book. And there's no doubt that there are killer herdsmen prowling our country, killing people. Some people have tried to change the narrative, make it look like, oh, it's some politician somewhere who do not want Buhari to win the election. It's a very silly claim. It's herdsmen killing people. It didn't start today. At TVC, we have a documentary that was shot in 2013 in Benue State, where herdsmen leveled communities, set ablaze police stations, and killed people. Now, it's impressive that the army have been able to arrest these guys. In Benue State alone, they arrested 147. Of course, that is the epicenter of the entire carnage. And then in Taraba, they've arrested 15. 13 soldiers were killed during the process. And the arrest of these herdsmen and 6 cult members and 5 cattle rustlers and 6 bandits. There's a difference between bandits and killer herdsmen. Some people deliberately, I suspect, deliberately want to make what is happening in Breningwari and Zamfara, want to call them herdsmen. The people killing people, they call them killer herdsmen. They are not killers. Those are bandits. Rustlers. They are rogues, thieves. They come to attack people, steal their cattle, or even kill miners.
But what's the difference between the activities and
They are different. They are different. Killer herdsmen are interested in the killer herdsmen engage farmers. There is a history of conflict between farmers and herdsmen. Sometimes the herdsmen let their cattle loose on people's farms. They eat up people's crops, and then those farmers avenge the destruction of their crops by killing cattle. Then after that, these guys will retreat and go and get the militia, which is their own killing arm, their own military arm. Those are the guys who now come and kill people. Those are the killer herdsmen. The bandits in Zamfara and Breningwari, because one's forest links those 2 states together. One extensive forest links Zamfara and Breningwari, even stretches up to the boundary with Kebbi State. So those ones are just thieves. They come to steal your cattle. They are not herdsmen. They are not in the business. So if you are calling the people who kill people in Zamfara herdsmen, you are an extremely ignorant person, and you are lying against herdsmen, because those ones, their modus of operandi is different. They have come to steal and kill people in the process. But the killer herdsmen have issues with farmers. They are ready to chase farmers off their farms so that they can graze unrestrained. That is what is happening. But the good thing is they have been arrested. And I remember too that the IG's special team, what was it called? The team led by Abba Kyari, arrested one Luga. Luga, it's a killer herdsman who was hiding inside the Tunga forest in Nasarawa. He had been blamed for the killing of so many people, across the border, you know, and then the Abba Kyari's men went after him and arrested him. This is what we want. And now that these killer herdsmen have been surrendered to the police, we want to see them put on trial. It shouldn't end there. It will be a waste if they arrest those people and then they are not put on trial.
We have Issa Mohammed calling from Kaduna on the line. Go ahead with your contribution.
Hello.
Hi, good evening.
Yeah, good evening.
Good evening.
I am Issa Mohammed Gladima calling from Birnangwara area in Kaduna State.
Go ahead.
All right.
Beningwari.
With respect to the banditry, currently threatening our local government area, Birnangwari, I would like to say that we need short-term measures by the government. As I'm talking to you, 2 hours ago, one person has been killed along Kaduna to Birnangwari highway. Even though we acknowledge, we appreciate the effort of the government by deploying police, but yes, we need short-term measures. The measures being taken currently by the federal government and the state government are long-term or mid-term measures. We actually need short-term measures to curb the incessant killing of innocent lives. We need that government should build up surveillance around the Birnangwari, around Kuntua Birnangwari highway, so that these abductions, these everyday abductions and killings will be contained. Similarly, we also need that the military checkpoints should be deployed, should be mounted after every 2 kilometers on especially Kaduna to Birnangwari highway and Kuntua to Birnangwari highway. This will definitely go a long way in, maintaining, ensuring that the security of lives and property of people, especially of Birnangwari and Kaduna, is actually ensured.
All right, Isa, thank you so much for your contribution. So much Isa has said there, because there's been a bloodbath, so to speak, in Kaduna. And the presidency has condemned it in strong terms. But like Isa is saying, beyond the long-term measures that the government is putting in place, they need short-term measures. GKB, maybe you could tell us what the short-term measures could be that the presidency or the government can put in place.
Well, of course, we are all aware that the Buhari administration, as well as the El-Rufai government in Kaduna, are notorious for condemning attacks when the job they took was to prevent it. And that, to me, is a tragedy, because the projection and the projectile elements are the same. The attacks are predictable, and yet every time we fail to stop them. There is a low-level war going on in northern Nigeria, and it's not just one war. There are the cattle rustlers in the northwest. There's Boko Haram in the northeast. And that the Fulani or the herdsmen rampaging central north. And we keep quiet because we assume it's not a national problem. But one day it's going to consume everybody, especially the elites in the north. Because they can run away, but they can't run far. Fine, these things precedes the Buhari administration. The problem in Kaduna precedes that of El-Rufai. But the reason I keep saying is that you applied for this job. It's not a monarchy. You beg people that you want to do it and solve their problem. You have not solved it, all you do is keep condemning. Anybody can condemn. Condemning is cheap. But you have the apparatus. You have everything that the Nigerian president is probably, constitutionally, the most powerful president in the world. Based on the Nigerian constitution, he can do anything. And yet, on a daily basis, you lose nothing less, according to a website, nothing less than 300 Nigerians every day. It's not a matter of looking for solutions. The solutions are obvious. Study the pattern of attacks and look for solutions to block it. That's the short-term thing. Then, problems that bestrides your government, things that cannot be solved by force, you apply the carrots. It's a two-pronged approach, just like our friend Yaradua did in the Niger Delta. It's not rocket science.
Use force.
Yeah. The first thing is make sure you stop it, at least minimize it. Second thing is to now look for the problems, how far it goes back. Because the problem in Zamfara is about 50 years old. They've been rustling cattle in that part of the country since the days of northwestern states. There are reports in Daily Times of cattle rustlers as far back as 1974. So that means government come, government go, and they've not had solutions.
Some people will say, oh, they don't like the government or that's
So that's the problem. I'm tired of people condemning things you are employed to stop. It's not fair. It's not fair on those people, because the only two jobs for governments, protection and providing shelter. Every other thing is not your job. But in Nigeria, they put their mouth in water, put their mouth in electricity, things that could be divulged to lower levels. But the main one that they are supposed to do, security, they fail woefully.
All right, let's quickly take this break and return to talk more on this topic. Stay with us. All right, this is on the Tuesday edition of Journalist Hangout. Now, I come to you, Waid. It appears that that's for the situation of the army handing over 162 suspected killer herdsmen to the police. It appears that the authorities may not have struck the right chord in terms of, because these arrests are not new and the wanton killings have still been going on. What really are we not doing right in this part? Is it that the people involved are not yet the ones that we are arresting?
Yes, like Jide rightly said, and GKB, I think we should give kudos to the soldiers, for making those arrests. We have said it repeatedly here that, those killers, they are not ghosts. They are human beings. Whether they come from Libya, whether they were trained in Libya, wherever they come from, they are in Nigeria, they must be fished out, And the army has now handed over them to the police. Police will now profile them and, find out those who are criminal, those who are culpable among them. Perhaps they are likely to release some of them later, after profiling them. My only fear is that, I just pray that police will not bungle this case. And at the same time, it will not be fair, to unjustly punish people, just to give us the impression that they are doing something about it. Because there is this saying that it is better to allow 100 criminals to get away than for you to punish one innocent person. So I expect that police will do a diligent job, take them to court. There must be consequences. People cannot just wake up and think that they can kill anybody, because the more you allow that to go on, more people will be encouraged to do it, because they look at it that what are the consequences for those who have done it in the past? Nothing. And they will be emboldened to go out and kill. Life is sacrosanct. You can't just take life the way you like. From the beginning of this year, there is no day that they don't kill people in Nigeria. From January 1st, go and check. There's almost every day they keep on killing people. And we condemning killings is the easiest thing that anybody can do.
Yes.
I've said it as that number that, you can easily predict what government will
Justice has to
say.
be done.
We can easily predict them. They will condemn. They will tell you that they are going to pay the bill of those who are injured. They will give mass burial to those who are killed. And everybody goes, we fold our hands until when another disaster will happen. It's going to become a routine, and something must be done about it. And this is the right time to do it. Otherwise, we are sitting on a keg of gunpowder. And when it explodes, you never can tell the magnitude of the explosion.
Does that lend credence to the talks about where people are saying that with the way killings are going in the country is tending towards a failed state?
Yeah, there are so many parameters, of course, to determine the failed state. Lack of security and banditry is a major pillar. Others, of course, hunger, displacement, and the rest, and the failure of borders to control. So we will not say we are a failed state yet.
Tending towards?
But we are about 150 kilometers deep into that road towards a failed state. Because our borders in the north are extremely porous. In Lagos today, these trucks bring in northerners and non-Nigerians at the average of about 200-300 per day. They come into Lagos, somebody will give them motorcycles to ride. And these people start doing what they call mass surveillance. It's a security threat. These people are not Nigerians. If you ask them, they cannot speak English. They can't speak Hausa.
Nigerians.
They don't have anything to do that. They are illegal aliens, in word and in deed. And yet we keep looking away. And that is the first step of security, your personal security. An Okada rider in Lagos, in 6 months, will know every nook and cranny of a neighborhood, including those that can be marked for elimination in case something starts. So we may think, like I said earlier, that the war is far away. That Birnin-Gwari is 1,600 kilometers away. That Safara is 2,300 kilometers away. But the war that we are going through is at home. So failed states, no. On the way to it, of course.
All right, now let's move on quickly to the next topic, Jide. Senator Shehu Sani is saying that the activities of bandits who commit the massacre they are nothing but terrorists. But then we're having strong condemnation from the presidency. He said that they are nothing but terrorists, except if you want to call a spade a pistol.
No, I expected him to talk like that because Shehu Sani speaks his mind all the time, and Brenengwari is located within his constituency of Kaduna Central. So he is really worried about the way those killings are going on. Every week, they kill people in Brenengwari. And that was why I was saying that instead of El-Rufai to devote so much time cursing people, because when you curse, it's just a mere statement. You are not God. It's only God who can put a stamp on it. So instead of spending your time cursing people and wishing that evil would descend on people, spend that time working hard with the federal government to see how you can stop these killings in Brenengwari, because the other day, even policemen on patrol, they kill easily. Our soldiers, fresh soldiers who are deployed, they were sleeping, they came in there, while those guys were sleeping, they wasted them. And they moved from community to community, wasting people. As a governor, I'll be worried. I'll be really worried. You see, I do not know how we are in Nigeria. If it was an American president or an American governor, he would even relocate to that place. I'm telling you, he will relocate, no matter how difficult it is. He will relocate to that area. The rate at which, and the people killing people in Zamfara and Brenengwari, they are basically the same sets of bandits. There are different groups. This one has his camp, the other one has his camp. When they killed the leader of the bandits in Zamfara, Buhari Daji, another guy emerged as a leader. And they come well armed. They come on motorbikes, carrying 3 persons at once, all of them with AK-47. So if we deploy 50 soldiers to guide the village, honestly, they cannot stop them from overrunning the village. The emir of Brenengwari said today that the community called Old Brenengwari is now firmly in the hands of those bandits, that they are holding the community, which means it is not only Boko Haram that is holding Nigerian territory. We just released about 1,000 people again. Interestingly, in Bama local government, the villages where Boko Haram was controlling those villages and held our people hostage. The army went there and released more than 1,000 people. I always say that they can only keep people up to 1,000 in a place when they are in control of the area. So when you deceive yourself that they are not holding any territory, you know that God is looking at you, and one day you face God and account for your ceaseless lies. Boko Haram controls Nigerian territories. The bad thing that we are hearing, according to the emir of Brenengwari, is that today bandits are in control of old Brenengwari.
The old town, yeah.
So why must we allow bandits to run riot in our country? When we have soldiers, we have the means of exterminating these people. We can't allow them to be wasting our people like flies. We have to come after these guys. Come after them and defeat them. That's what we should do. That's the duty of a government. That's what El-Rufai should be doing. That's what he should be talking about. Politicking with Shehu Sani with the bushy hair and the other man should be placed aside. Face the killings.
People's lives
Face the killings.
Here.
Stop the killing of people in Brenengwari. That is your job as a governor. That's your job.
Now, this boils down to political will, Waid, because some persons are saying that people's lives are being played with politics here.
It's quite unfortunate, like I said earlier on, that from the beginning of this year, it has become a daily routine. It's just a matter of how many are they going to kill today. Maybe as we are speaking now in the studio, people are being killed elsewhere. You never can tell. You'll be shocked that by the time you leave the studio in the net, you will you'll be getting a lot breaking news. A number of people have been killed. Now, I think they have taken the right step by saying they want to have a battalion there, but it goes beyond that. The battalion that we are going to have there, how well are they going to be? How well armed are they going to be? What are the logistics that we are going to provide? Because we have had a situation where in the past, whereby soldiers were they were withdrawn, because of the fact that there was no enough logistics. If you give them timeline that you are going to be in this environment for 30 days, and the provision you made is just for 15 days. After 15 days, they are bound to withdraw. We have seen that in the past. So because of this, it's not enough to say you are going to establish a battalion there. What are the other things that are going to give the soldier? What are the incentives that they are going to get? Because you are saying that they should put their life at risk. These are the set of people that they have been so brave to the extent of killing soldiers, young boys.
All right, quickly, if you could just hold the thought. We have Nasir calling from Kaduna. Are you there? Go ahead with your contribution, please.
Yes, I'm with you.
All right, good evening.
Good evening, ma'am.
Good evening.
Yes, my name is Khalid Nasir. I'm you from Birnungwari local government area of Kaduna State.
All right, go ahead with your contribution.
Yes, I want to share our views with you because we are from the primary source where these problems is being lingered us on a daily basis. Every day we are used to be killed like an animal. Therefore, we have to put on fresh government come into our head. Because since day before yesterday, or for the last 3 days, people are going around Birnungwari now, scattered. They don't know where to look for. So now we have this in Birnungwari.
Nasir, the phone lines are muddled up. If you could just try to call back again, then make your contribution. For now, we can't really hear you clearly.
He said they are being killed like animals.
Yeah, people are moving on the street.
Don't know where to go.
Yes, on April 13, they killed a policeman, and they abducted about, I think, 3 or 5 NURTW members that were coming from a wedding party. They lay ambush for them and they took them away. These same people, shortly before then, they also killed some miners. These are people that are doing their legitimate job. They went after them and slaughtered them like animals. And up to now, nothing has been done.
And if you know what they do is, it's very similar to what happens in Zamfara. When you mobilize the people, you mobilize vigilante against them, they will now come back with vengeance. On those days, they can kill 60, kill 80. Just because you had the effrontery, the government can't protect you. You now organize yourself as vigilante. They will come back and they are better armed. They will come back and just slaughter people. That's why the emir of Ankara said, see, I'm going to appeal to the UN to protect my people. So if an emir has lost faith in the capacity of the state to protect his people, he's now thinking of
seeking external help.
Yes, it's terrible.
Yeah, because there is Boko Haram, and then there is banditry issues. We have some sort of a war in our hands. We have a war in our hands. Do we really need external help? Is that what we should be seeking right now?
Ultimately, once Nigeria fails, and the people
do we have to wait till
we have no choice.
That point?
Yeah, because 2 things. If you know the distance between towns in the north.
Maybe you should have said, if Nigeria fails.
If Nigeria fails.
But when you say once, it's like it's going to happen.
Look, if you know the distance between towns in the north, you realize the fact that it's almost impossible to sneak in on any town. Remember, because of the vegetation, there are few trees. So you are talking about people riding on motorbikes for about 20, 30, 40 kilometers without anybody stopping them, without any check on where they are going. And these people will get fuel. They will load up. They will have a party. They will shoot gun in the air, and nobody will intervene. That is a serious sign. I don't want to look at this problem as if you are staying in Lagos. Look at it as somebody moving from Ibadan to Lagos to attack, and they have a free ride from the toll gate to the toll gate. That's how bad our security has failed the people of the north.
There's no government presence in a lot of those communities.
So most of the time...
And sometimes even when it happens and they raise alarm, help will not come.
That's why some have said that there seems to be a conspiracy of silence somewhere.
No, you see, the Emir of Ankara was saying that corruption is even at the root of this thing. That he knows policemen who have compromised themselves. You know, these bandits, they are rich.
Of course.
So when you steal people's cattle and other things, because they are also into kidnapping. Those ones in, even in Breningwari, they're into kidnapping and all that. So they are rich, they are able to compromise policemen, compromise security agencies. And sometimes when you now raise an alarm that they are in this village fighting, they're killing people, help will not come. They can operate for hours in a place. And those people will not be able to defend themselves. That's the major complaint of the Emir. Every time, and sometimes too, they will be aware that those guys will come, they will raise alarm, and no fortification of any kind will be in place in those communities. Those guys will just walk in and be slaughtering our people. In one day, I remember in 2014, on a market day, these cattle rustlers killed 120 people in Zamfara. One day. This thing has been on for years. So when people say, oh, it's because some people don't like Buhari, you know that nothing can be sillier than that, because it has been there from time immemorial.
All right, Wahid, quickly, you said that the battalion that is being said to be established there is not enough. What then can be done in the short term?
Well, in the short time, you know, they should stop the killing first. You know, because they should stop the killing by making sure that they give enough protection to those areas. You know, people will raise the alarm. There are cases where people are aware that their lives are in danger, yet they will not be able to do anything about it. They will inform the appropriate authority that, no, we know that this is about to happen. Right. Unfortunately, they will not be able to prevent it, and it can't continue like that. If you are if you are deploying soldiers in that community, then you must also provide the logistics that they will need to carry out the operation.
Honestly, I'm confused about what we can do when you have a forest stretching from Kaduna State to Niger Republic, where they can hide. And they don't drive big vehicles, it's just these bikes.
They use motorcycles.
So they can connect.
It's difficult.
It's difficult. So most of those multi-terrain vehicles that the army uses, you can't use them in those
All right,
places.
we need to move forward. Now, prisons are facilities where offenders are confined and denied a variety of freedoms under the authority of government. This is to serve as a deterrent to others and attempt to rehabilitate such offenders. This became the fate of a suspected billionaire kidnapper Chukwudumeme Onwamadike, popularly known as Evans, when he was arrested and charged for a series of offenses like kidnap, murder, and attempted murder. At the continuation of his trial at the Lagos State High Court on Monday, Evans was in tears. He lamented alleged maltreatment at the Kirikiri maximum prisons, and we ask, to what purpose? Is it, Jide, maybe you could understand Evans's drama, but break it down. What is it trying to get? Some sort of sympathy? What is he doing?
In situations like this, you don't even need to ask me a question, because I have a ready response.
All right. Go ahead, please.
Evans, I'll be happy if you can cry me a river, because you subjected people to worse pains. You are just a fool. When you say, oh, they are not giving you good food, do you think, were you expecting the 5-star meals that you used to eat inside a Magodo to be served during Kirikiri? No, Evans, I'm sorry, you will not, nobody will serve you that kind of meal. You want to be eating pizza in Kirikiri, you won't eat pizza in Kirikiri. Because when this fellow was kidnapping people, what was he serving his victims? One of those victims said they were being served bread and water. Just, you kidnap a billionaire, and then you serve him just bread and water. What can be worse than that? Oh, and you want them to give you rock star treatment. Nobody will give you rock star treatment, Evans. You have not even begun, because there are cases that are yet to be even opened. The files have not been opened for some cases against you. They are still going to take you to Benin. they're still going to take you to Benin. You're still going to face trial in Benin. In the East, you're still going to face trial. And in those places, the prison conditions are probably even worse. So your trouble has just begun, Evans, because what you subjected people to will be visited upon you. It's a prophecy that has come to pass. You don't need a Nigerian pastor to tell you that you are going to face the same problems that you subjected people to.
Even the Oaid is trying to fight for his rights, so to speak, in prison.
Yes, I think I will differ a bit from what JD has said. I think we need to draw a distinction between morality and law. In the court of public opinion, you know, if many Nigerians have their way, by now it should have been tied to the stake and killed.
Yeah.
And if I happen to be a governor, you know, if he's found guilty and is sentenced to death, it's one of the cases that I will not hesitate to sign his death warrant. But the fact remains that, you know, I'm not saying that he should be given 5-star treatment, but you know, it should not be. What is more important is diligent prosecution. They should tight all the loopholes and make sure that his lawyer will not have anything to capitalize on. Because
this guy has confessed.
I know. Because you know, judges are not for Christmas. They will only adjudicate the case based on what parties presented before.
As evidence.
What if he now goes back to say that he was forced?
See, there are even in your confession, there are some circumstantial pronouncements that you make that they can piece together to know that yes, this is fact.
But you know that the police,
but the issue is not even. Hold on, now. The issue is not even about whether he's culpable or not. We are saying that he wants to hit the kind of food, served by,
that's why I said
by
I'm not advocating for
the best chefs in town. He won't get that. This is prison life. It is reality. When you are in prison, all of those guys, just let them keep someone in Kirikiri for a few weeks. If you see that person, it will be broomstick thin. So we still see him. They bring him to court. He has not really lost weight. He has not really lost weight.
Well,
when he begins to look like a Somali refugee, that is when we will know that he has lost weight.
Look, but
you know what he subjected people to?
Water actually, you know, said that his statement countered his claims that he was being treated right. But then, what is he trying to achieve with this complaint?
Basically, change the narration. Basically, look for sympathy.
He's looking for sympathy. He can't change any narrative.
You won't get it.
Try to humanize.
With people like me, you cannot
give it a human face.
Look, I'm suffering there. Things are really bad.
People suffered in his hands. In fact, policemen lost their lives.
The first question is this: is the treatment being meted to him peculiar, or is it the way they treat every prisoner of his ilk? And the answer is yes. You and I know the quality of Nigerian prisons. We know when somebody came out of prison in 98, what they look like.
Of course.
We know what they look like a few years later, without mentioning names.
You are not even allowed to mention names on this. So you go and mention names on your way.
So the reality is that the guy is just grandstanding. He's just looking for. I think he just took a course in a senator's book of tricks and tried to apply 101, which didn't work. Basically,
we are not.
It's not, in fact, normally as an editor, I know editors that will not even use this tool.
Yes, I'm completely on this matter. On this matter, anybody can say anything. I'm completely soulless.
Yeah. But if I had to be the old days when there were no social media,
he was offering bread and water to victims.
Quickly, we have a caller on the line, Dr. Okido, calling from Ilorin. Go ahead with your contribution.
Yeah. Good evening.
Good evening.
Good evening, Jide.
I greet you, sir.
After Democrats, we have not met again.
Oh, I can't even remember her face now.
Oh, it's okay. Okay,
Oh dear. Well, you could call back as soon as possible, even though we are running out of time. So quickly, gentlemen, your final takes on this whole discussion. Chidi.
Well, my final take is still about Evans. Evans, deal with the situation that you found yourself. You are such a coward. You come to court, you'll be crying like a baby, but it's just the character synonymous with bullies. when they are now served a dose of their own medicine, you now see them turn dirty yellow. That's what he has become. He's a thorough coward.
All right.
You know, so and nobody will serve you food served at
Why? Quickly.
If he's found guilty and ultimately
5-star hotels.
and ultimately he has to pay the ultimate price, you know, I just urge whoever the governor is at that time to have the political will to sign the courage and the political will to sign his death warrant. He doesn't deserve to live. That is if he's
people have died in his hand. So
GKB, quickly.
I don't care about Evans. I care about the people that are being killed every day, and the government is not protecting them. Failure to protect citizens is a failure of government. You have no other job. You can buy all the SUVs you want.
it's unacceptable.
The only job you have is to protect license.
All right, gentlemen, thank you for coming on the program today. And that's all on Journalist Hangout. Join us tomorrow for another episode of the program. Watch the repeat broadcast tonight at 11. You can also watch Journalist Hangout on other platforms showing on the screen and on YouTube at youtube.com/TVC News Nigeria. Our feedback channel is Journalist Hangout at tvcnews.tv. I'm Veronica Danny Boy. Bye for now, and God bless Nigeria.